All right, we're back. An episode of the MDM podcast. Oh my god, I can't believe we're doing this. It's Black Monday. The NFL season has come to a conclusion. Giants, Jets are done. And the way the Giants go out yesterday, with the win in the afternoon, with the BS Philadelphia pulled at night, and we'll get into that in a second. But first, we have to introduce Trevor. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I think I'm doing better than you right
You
now on
sound
this
like you're doing
whole
better than me.
On this Giant situation because it was a good win. I think the defense played really well yesterday. I'll take a look at the positives. I think the defense, was the main contributor why they won yesterday.
Oh, yeah, the defense played a big part in it. And we're, 25, or not 25, 22 hours since the game ended. And I've basically forgotten about the game because it's basically nothing with what happened at night. And I got to start there, dude. If you want to touch on the game, we'll touch on the game. But I can't let it go. 15 hours later, it's still bothering me. It bothers me the way Philadelphia embarrassed themselves on national television last night. They embarrassed themselves, they embarrassed their fans, they embarrassed Philadelphia, and they embarrassed the sport. Because what they pulled last night, Philadelphia quit in the third quarter last night. And I don't want to hear Doug Peterson go on and say, we're doing it for our future, the best of the team. Best of the team? Nate Sudfeld's the best player on the field? You have a superstar young quarterback. Not going to let him play a full game in a meaningless game? And then you have to watch Washington celebrate in your field? That's what you like, Doug Peterson? Really?
Well, I have a different perspective. I think, first of all, Giants fans shouldn't be complaining. Doug Peterson, it's his team. He has to do what he feels right. He does what he thinks is,
No. How is that right? How is that right?
What he wishes. And I don't think he threw the game. I
What?
think
He don't think through the game. He took out his. How does Nate Sudfeld give a better chance to win than Jalen Hurts?
I believe he was going to put Sudfeld in the whole time. I'm with Doug Peterson on this one.
How? How are you with Doug Peterson? He went and embarrassed himself on national television.
Because I think he had a game plan the whole time to put Nate Sudfeld in that game.
Why? What business does Nate Sudfeld have coming in this game?
Because he wants to see what he has for next year.
Next year, he's 27 years old. He's a career backup.
Well, I'm just telling you this. Giants fans shouldn't complain. Doug Peterson could do what he wants to do with his team.
And he threw the game.
I don't know if he threw the game. I think he tried to go out and win the game.
How? How?
Well, first of all, we got to call fair as fair. Jalen Hurts was not having a good game. Would you agree with that?
No, he wasn't passing well, but they put up 14 points with his legs.
So my thing is that maybe they should have brought in Sudfeld to pass and Hurts to run.
Why would they do that? His first pass was an interception.
Well, that's unfortunate. But I'm just telling you this.
It's not unfortunate. He sucks.
Giants fans shouldn't complain. Doug Peterson could do what he wants to the team. And second of all, if you have to rely on other teams to win, then maybe you don't belong in the playoffs then. That's my take on it. I'm not as furious as other Giants fans, so I think it's ridiculous.
It was the fact that they won the game in the afternoon. They won it was a pretty good game. Daniel Jones played pretty well. I think it was one of his best games of the year.
Defense won that game.
Go ahead. Come on. What did he do wrong this time?
Well, he made that very good throw. That was a great throw. I'll give him that.
Which one?
The one that they got the 20 on. What was that? Right before halftime. That
before
halftime. The one to Pettis, whatever the last name is, the rookie.
Oh, almost a touchdown, right? Like on the 4-yard line or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Touchdown or was it close? Okay,
that's
fun. The thing, my problem is that first of all, you got to admit the offense was very cold in the second half. They were nowhere to be found.
Why? Jones made a couple good throws in the second half.
No. I'm just talking about they only put up 3 points in the second half, and they got lucky because that should maybe not been a field goal.
Oh, that definitely wasn't, dude. We got so lucky with that. That was not a completion.
Yeah,
I think that was Sterling Shepard. That was not a completion.
Yeah. So first of all, the offense was so good in the second half. Would you agree with that?
No, they weren't good. I'll give you that. Doesn't matter though. They won.
And I keep saying this before. I gotta take a look at what team they beat. Dallas defense is not very good.
No. For this game, you have to throw that narrative away. This was a game that was important. This was a game they needed to win. That was a
I
big game.
understand.
That was the biggest game they played in 4 years.
I understand that, but I think he played a very average game.
Okay, let me see if I can change your mind. This was the biggest game in 4 years, like I said. And on that first drive, Daniel Jones took his team up the field. First drive of the game.
He did, but I just think that if you really want to talk about who gave them that win, I thought it was the defense that gave them that win
What did
because
they do?
they held Dallas. They shut him out. They shut him out of the end zone in the first half. I mean, the
I
Dallas field goal kicker made a long field goal right before halftime. That's just a good kick. You can't do anything about that.
All right, let me throw this right back at you. The Cowboys' offense was nothing. Watch Andy Dalton. What did Andy Dalton do good
Well,
yesterday? They were able to
no,
contain Zeke to under 50 yards.
well, I agree to that. Now, here's why the Giants defense won that game. When the Giants turned that ball over in the first half, that wasn't 7, that was only 3. And then they made a goal line stand at the end of the game, and they kind of kept, I wouldn't say they didn't play a great, they played a really good game. Not a perfect game, but they kept Dallas out of the end zone in the first half. He had that turnover that could have been 7, looked like it was going to be 7, turned out just to be 3.
Mm-hmm.
And after they scored that one touchdown to get it to 4 points, they clamped down twice. They only got a field goal one time. They still had a lead. Then the other time they made a goal line stand, and the pressure got there. So I think it's the defense that should take all the credit for this win.
Not all the credit. It's a team sport, dude.
They should take, but if you want to put it on one main reason why they won, because of that defense.
No, it's definitely on the offense here, dude. Jones gave us 23 points, threw for a touchdown. Wayne Gallman was pretty good yesterday.
We wouldn't be saying that if that fumble went the other way.
Oh my god, I was about to lose my mind, dude. Just sit down. Why is he running away with it?
But and like I said before, and I think this cost the Giants in the end. And I kept saying this the whole year. It mattered who you beat, and when they came up for the big time, they could not beat a good team, and that cost them in the end.
Yeah, you're right. Because the last couple games of the season with the Browns and with the Ravens, they did not show up. For some reason, they can't beat a good team.
And you know what? They got lucky against Seattle. That's it.
And that wasn't even Jones.
No. And if you take Seattle out, I really don't count that game because that was really just the defense winning that game.
Okay, but these are wins, dude. You can't take away wins because it's the defense.
I think we're talking about Jones though. So
Jones isn't in place, so that you can't even count that.
Yeah. So my thing was the whole year is that they haven't beaten besides Seattle. They need to get another win against a good team. I said they need to go. I said that big stretch. They needed to go 3 wins against Dallas and pick off 2 games. And I kept saying this the whole year. And in the end, I think not beating a good team, that cost them in the end.
Credit where credit is due. I will give you that they did not beat a good team this year. But when it mattered this year, Daniel Jones stepped up. He took his team down the field many times, and the Giants ended up winning yesterday.
Well, let's take a look at who they beat. I'm going to give you all these right here.
Let's go.
They beat Cincinnati without Joe Burrow.
Okay.
And they almost lost that game.
Right. Can I stop you there for a second?
Mm-hmm.
That was because of the special teams. You see how the special teams played.
I'm just saying they beat Washington twice, but that was when Washington didn't have Alex Smith. They had all these other problems.
They were first place. Washington finished first place this year.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, when Washington played the Giants, it was a different team. Haskins was the quarterback.
I know, but they finished in first place this year. Look at that defense. They finished first place this year.
I understand, but that's not really first.
And also, a 7-win team isn't awful.
No, okay.
That's middle of the pile. They beat an okay team.
They beat the Eagles, who were bad. Yeah, the Eagles are bad.
Yes, I will.
They beat Seattle, but that wasn't Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't give them that.
Impressive defensive win.
Impressive defense. I'm trying to think. They beat Washington twice. They beat the Eagles once. That's 3. Cincinnati's 4.
They beat Washington twice.
Yeah, I say so. Washington's twice. Cincinnati.
Eagles and Seattle.
4. Seattle, that's 5.
That's
and then Dallas 6. So they beat.
Yeah.
So they kind of all beat average. Like I said before, and I take this into account. Washington definitely improved from when the Giants played them to when they play now. Remember, Washington had a different quarterback those 2
Yes, but other than that, it's the same team, it's the same defense, same running back, same receivers. Yes. I mean, and you thought Dwayne Haskins is a great quarterback.
I just think that I think he needed to get out of Washington. That's my big thing.
Hey, look at everyone else that goes into Washington. I mean, I'm not gonna say that, but Washington had a good year.
Yes, and And you got to admit, those wins, those 6 wins that you take out the Seattle win, those are not really, they didn't really beat really good teams. That was just, they beat okay to bad teams.
No, so you look like that. I'm looking at it like this. I'll give you Cincinnati and I'll give you Philadelphia. That's 2 wins. I'll give you that. Those are bad teams. The
And
Giants
Seattle, because Jones didn't play.
and Seattle. There you go. But the game that mattered yesterday, they won. The game against Washington, or both games against Washington, when it's the same team, same coach, just a different quarterback, virtually the same thing. Yeah,
They might
those
just.
count.
I need to just match up with Washington good.
They do. Well, for some reason they always take care of business when it comes to the football team. Always.
Yeah, and I just think that yesterday, if that defense didn't play well or hold them, they would have lost that game.
If the defense didn't play well.
If here's how the defense won the game. I'll give you three. I'll give you three.
Go for it.
One, that turnover that only resulted in 3 points in the first quarter. That was big right there.
Mm-hmm.
That exchange fumble with Jones and Gallman.
That was brutal, and that's all on Wayne Gallman.
That's number one.
But hold on. Would you agree that's all on Wayne Gallman?
Yeah, I would just say that you can't have communication errors on any of the offense like that in Week 17. That's unacceptable.
Or simply this: Wayne Gallman has to clamp his arms together.
Yeah, you can't.
Come on. That's a rookie mistake.
I'm talking about you can't have handoff issues in Week 17. That's unacceptable.
I agree, but Wayne Gallman has to come up with that. I mean,
yeah, so I'm saying you can't have those. Yeah, that's all Gallman's fault. You can't
Right.
have issues like that in Week 17.
Right.
I'm sorry, you just can't. That's number one. That turnover only resulting in 3 points. That was number one. How they won.
Mm-hmm.
The defense. Number two is that when Dallas was driving with all the momentum, when it was 20-16, they held Dallas to only 3 then. The Giants still had the lead then.
Yeah, and that drive, that was a good standoff because if I remember correctly, I think the Cowboys marched up the field and took them like 15 plays to do it, right?
Yeah, and then number three is that right there at the end of the game, 23-19,
the interception.
They made another stand. So I really think those are the 3 reasons why the Giants won the game. Because the Giants, even if they had one slip up on those stands, Giants lose the game.
Well, how about this? And I want to come back to the defense in a second. But what if Sterling Shepard catches the ball that was thrown right to him? What if Evan Ingram doesn't drop 2 easy passes? What
about Dallas challenges that play call?
Yeah, that's huge.
That
there's adds on to Mike McCarthy's an awful first year in Dallas.
Yeah, something's got to get done. I think they keep Prescott at the end of the season. I had the bank on it.
Definitely.
I think he stays.
Definitely.
But Dallas had the best team on paper heading into the season, and I think they still did.
Well, once they lost Dak, they lost that, and even when they had Dak, they were 1-3. It wasn't really his fault.
They had a lot of injuries on defense.
It was the defense, exactly. But when they had Dak, they were 1-3, and once they lost him, they didn't pick up their steps again until these last 3 or 4 weeks when they went on this win streak.
Yeah, and my thing is just for the Giants is that here's how the Eagles didn't cost you the division.
No,
you blew a big lead in Philly. Remember that game?
Yes, that was an Evan Ingram didn't catch the lob pass. Yep.
You blew that game. You could have won that game. That could have changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't show up against Arizona, right? You didn't show up against Arizona
or Cleveland.
Or Cleveland. You didn't show up against them.
And I'll give you this: all of those. Good.
And you didn't show up against Baltimore either. So.
But also, all of those one possession games earlier in the year, if Jones or the team doesn't make a couple mistakes, some of those games are wins.
How about that?
Look at the Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay. Off the top of my head, those are some games that they could have won.
So I don't want to hear that. Well, they threw the game. That's how they know. The Giants fans have nothing to complain about. You should take a look at that.
No. I'm going to complain they threw the game because they did.
No, my thing is that you had multiple opportunities to make sure you didn't have to rely on other teams. You had multiple chances.
Were you not pissed off when Doug Peterson did this yesterday?
I was a little bit, but I came to grips with saying, you know what? If you had to rely on other teams, they don't deserve the playoff spot. And The other thing is too, it's Doug Peterson's team. He's allowed to do whatever he wants.
It's a stupid move, and it was clearly just to get a better draft pick. I don't want to hear anything about the future because it wasn't.
Then if that's the case, what happens is the next time win a couple more games.
Oh my God! No,
Win.
next year the Giants better beat the Eagles by 40 plus in both games.
Then don't, like I said before, if you want to not have that happen again, win a couple more games, you don't have to worry about it. That's where I stand on it.
Sure. Next year, I think next year with all that's happened this year, I'm expecting 8 wins out of the team next year. I need I need a wide receiver. I need another corner, and we're ready to go. I need to start seeing some results now.
How about a quarterback?
No.
How about if I make this deal with you and tell me this is fair?
Okay.
How about we give Jones one more season, and if the same result happens like this, 6 wins, then he's out. Is that fair enough?
I told you this a couple weeks ago. If next year we're still having the Daniel Jones arguments, then yes, we can have a for real conversation about changing up the quarterback. If next year they're at 5 or 6 wins again. So
and with Barkley.
Hopefully Barkley. The guy's got to stay on the field.
Yeah. So again, I'm reluctant, but I think I'm willing to give the guy maybe one more year. Kind of like
approve me year.
Yes, you gotta get out and do it this year. No excuses this year.
Okay, I want to add a couple more things on the Giants' offense yesterday, and we mentioned it a little bit. But number one, Sterling Shepard dropped the ball thrown right to him. No excuses on there. Sterling Shepard's a veteran; he needs to come up with those plays. Number two, the ball goes right through Evan Ingram's hands on an easy first down.
He needs to be cut.
Oh my God, he's got to be off the team today. I don't think they are because he has a lot of potential and he's proven himself. How the heck did this guy get in the Pro Bowl?
I have no idea.
Oh my God, how is he a Pro Bowl selection? Guy all of a sudden forgets how to catch a ball.
Tight end position must be a bad down year for them.
Well, no, who's the guy from Green Bay? Tanyan? I don't know how to say his name. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I think he should have gotten it. He's been on fire the last couple weeks. He's catching. I think he has a touchdown pass each of his last 6 or 7 games. I think he should have been in it. But that was number one. And when the ball goes through Ingram's hands, I wrote down the quote from Troy Aikman. He goes right into the hands of Evan Ingram. Right into the hands of Evan Ingram. Implying Daniel Jones put the ball right in his hands and Evan Ingram dropped it. And I felt bad for Daniel Jones right there because I knew that on Twitter, I might have even gotten a text from you how that was going to be somehow blamed on Daniel Jones. That was my number one problem. Number two, I don't know if you remember this, and I even forget what part of the game it was. There was a bad call on Sterling Shepard. I think they called it chop block on him.
No, it was a crackback block.
Crackback, there you go. It was 1st and 10, set him back 15 yards. That should not have been a penalty. Set him back to 1st and 25 out of field goal range. And that took points off the board for them. And number three, we had Daniel Jones actually run. Right? There were some design run plays in there for him.
Yeah, it was.
But remember earlier in the week, Daniel Jones and Joe Judge went back and forth on he shouldn't have came out and said that he couldn't run. And Jones was like, I'm not really healthy. I don't know if I have to run. I have to play from the pocket. If it was a bluff or not, you tell me. Maybe he miraculously healed up in those final 3 or 4 days of the week. But
we'll never know.
It was an obvious lie. And I don't think the Cowboys were even thrown off by it. They seem ready for him.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, too. That fumble, we'll never really know what happened at the bottom of that pile.
I actually think there was one camera shot that saw Gallman, or I think it was another.
I saw that. I don't know, man. I'm just saying we never really know what really happened.
Exactly, and we have to trust that the referees made the right call, but we might have gotten away with something there. But Wayne Gallman in the future, to sit down when you get the first down. Don't keep running.
I don't know. If that game was in Dallas, I think I might have went the other way.
You think?
I think that was with fans there. I think that was a hometown call.
Really?
I think if that was in Dallas, would have went the other way.
Well, what if there were fans in MetLife? Would have gone different.
I think it still would have went to the Giants. Well, thank God there wasn't fans in MetLife. Holy cow!
Honestly, and
there would have been stuff falling on the field.
Oh my god, and especially with if imagine they were in Dallas with Mike McCarthy's non-challenge call. Could you imagine what they
Oh
would do
boy.
there in Texas? Oh my god.
Yeah, and so the Giants will finish up the season 6-10, and a couple of things to take a look at. Giants' home record this year
3 and
is
5.
a little unacceptable, 3-5.
Mhm.
You gotta have a better home record. That's number one.
Mhm.
Um, but in the end, you know, I texted you in the end and saying, you know what, probably it's better in the, probably it's probably better Washington won the division, so the Giants get a better draft pick.
Right, I'm happy you brought this up because this was another thing that bothered me. After the Eagles lost, I got to thinking. I said, if I knew the Eagles were gonna lose and Washington would eventually if I knew Philly was gonna win the division with a win that night, I would have went all out and rooted for the Giants to lose. That would be the only time I did it. But of course, you don't know, obviously. But if for some reason I knew, that would be the only time I would root against the Giants there. Because it gave us false hope. It meant nothing. As you call it, I don't want to do this either, but it was a meaningless win.
Yeah, and in the end, I took a look. It only cost the one draft spot.
Right. So it's them in Dallas. That's it. But if they lost, they would have been further down.
Yeah, if they lost, what would they would have been like?
Here, I'm gonna go look. Cause they had no what do they call them? Tiebreakers. They had no tiebreakers over any of the teams that were one game worse than them. So I wrote it down here. The Giants could have gotten the third pick with a
But that didn't happen.
no, they could have with a loss, with a Lions win, a Texans win, a Falcons win, a Bengals win, and an Eagles win. So the Lions, the Texans, the Falcons, the Bengals, and the Eagles all had tiebreakers over them. So the Falcons
so
went.
In the end, I think the Eagles were the only one that won.
Yes, the Eagles were the only one that. No, the Eagles lost.
I'm sorry. Eagles lost. So the only team that won in the end was no one, right?
No one won. So they would have had the 7th pick because they would have been worse than Detroit. And at 5-11, they would have been better than Philadelphia. Yeah. No, wait. 4-11-1. No, the Giants would have been better. Yeah. So they would have had the 7th pick. Really, it's not much of a difference. 7-11. Come on.
Well, when you're talking about a receiver this year and teams ahead of you, could make a difference.
All right, let's trade up then. Trade up if you want a receiver. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, I was a big proponent of trying to keep that first round pick this year and trading up to get 2 first round picks in the top 10.
When?
This year.
You want what do you mean? Wait, hold on. Explain that again.
So if they had the 11th pick,
mm-hmm.
trade to get another first round pick, but try and keep your 11th pick.
I don't think that's possible.
Or maybe trade. Yeah, you gotta try.
You have to trade a player.
Yeah, you do.
Don't say Jones. Don't say Jones.
Well, my thing was if you get 2 first round picks, then you can take a receiver and a quarterback.
I'm not taking a quarterback, dude. I'm not doing it.
If I told you the Jaguars were willing to trade the 1 pick for Trevor Lawrence, you can tell me you wouldn't take that.
What do I have to give up?
You have to go with Jones.
Okay.
You got to give up a next year's first round pick.
Okay.
Next year's first round pick, and the year after that's first round pick.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
To get a generational talent.
Absolutely not. Did you see? This is a good point. Did you see what the Houston Texans and Miami Dolphins did now?
Yeah, Dolphins got a good pick. Yeah.
Dolphins have the 3rd pick in the draft.
Now, what about if I told you? What about the Giants got the 1 pick? They're gonna tell me you wouldn't consider taking Trevor Lawrence?
If they got the 1 pick, you have to take Lawrence. I'm not giving up 3 years of first round picks for him.
Even with Daniel Jones, if they got the number 1 pick, you would throw Jones out.
If they got the number 1 pick, yeah, I would. Because Jones would have played so bad for them to get the number 1 pick that you've had to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, we got a couple coach firings today as well.
Yes, we'll get into that in a few actually, in a few seconds. But I want to touch on Adam Gase first.
Oh,
so
boy.
I want to make
we kind of knew this to get out.
Yeah, that was my point. I want to make this clear. I could have told you on Thanksgiving that he was going to be gone today, right? Because he ruined his young quarterback. He ruined Sam Darnold, and Sam gets a bad rep because of this guy. And Sam's hasn't played that well. But if he has a semi-decent coach, if someone is half as good as Adam Gase, Sam Darnold would have been better. They wouldn't have been. What did they finish? 2-14. And
so they got 2 wins, but okay.
So for Adam Gase, I hope he got a good long look at the field because that's his last time he'll be seeing an NFL field for a while.
Well,
Did
I could tell you this, that he is being interviewed as
Alabama,
one of
right?
for the Alabama offensive coordinator.
What do you think
Yes,
of no him and Bill
Bill
O'Brien?
O'Brien.
What
Bill
do you think?
O'Brien.
What do you think of that?
Well, I would say it really kind of doesn't matter because Alabama has so much talent,
Yeah,
and you kind of under Nick Saban, so really
I think that
it
would be
doesn't really.
awesome for Gase or O'Brien because they're
Yeah, but
both
I really.
awful NFL head coaches.
But
They get
I think
demoted to college and to be a coordinator. That's awesome.
yeah, but you're under Nick Saban, so I don't know how bad can that be?
I mean, it seems like a pretty easy gig, right?
Yeah.
Well, Saban's gonna be gone soon. He's turning 70.
Oh yeah, I think he still got another 5 years.
5 years? Oof, that's rough.
Hey, you look at the guy. He came through COVID and all that. You know, the guy's
COVID,
a tough
COVID
guy.
twice.
COVID, the guy's a tough guy.
He's always
He
had
looks
good
pretty good.
teams too.
Yeah, and he looks pretty good for his age. I
Yeah,
mean,
I wouldn't think he's 70 if you looked at him.
no, I mean, I think he's still got another 5 years. I would think.
So on for the Jets, I heard that Joe Douglas is getting the nod to search for the next head coach, and that's good. For a long time, they've had Chris Johnson, who's the owner, run things and find the coach. Look where that's gone with Bulls and Gase. I think it's time. And Joe Douglas apparently is respected around the league. I don't know what to make of him yet. He's only like a year in, so you gotta give him a little more time to get his feet wet. But so far, so good. He's hit on some of his picks. He's hit on Becton. He's hit on Michael P. Ryan. He's hit on Ashton Davis. Luke Mann, the punter, he's even hit on. So he's hit on a couple of his picks. But now he's gonna hit on a head coach. Cause
I'll give you a name.
let's go.
It's kind of a name that's been floating around. Eric Bieniemy.
I've heard Bieniemy, and I've also heard the Titans OC. Who is that? Schefter said this guy's gonna be thrown around a lot. What's his name?
How about Josh McDaniels?
Arthur Smith. Who's Josh McDaniels? He was the Giants a few years ago, right?
Yeah, he's a Patriots offensive coordinator.
He interviewed for the Giants a couple years ago. No, McDaniels he's one of the up and comings, right?
Yeah, he's in the Belichick. I don't know if he's ready yet, but
No, after this year, I mean, you really want him
well,
after this year? What he's done?
I mean, the offense was still semi decent.
Yeah, he didn't have a quarterback all year, dude.
Yeah,
So what was good about it? He didn't have a quarterback
still got 6 wins.
somehow. That's Belichick. That's not Josh McDaniels. Belichick pulled 6. I don't know how he got 6 wins with that team.
Shows you how good a coach is.
He's real, dude. He's great. But look at all the opt outs. Look at all the guys they lost in free agency. Look at the quarterback. The fact that they got
So
6 wins, pretty remarkable.
So it's a great job by Belichick.
Right, well, come on. He's the best coach of all time.
Yeah, and that team was in the playoff race for a couple weeks too.
Look, they had that late playoff surge, right?
Yeah.
So number one's Bieniemy. I think that's pretty obvious. He's already interviewed for the Lions,
Atlanta.
the Falcons. I also heard he's in line for the Texans in a couple days. I'm sure the Chargers will pounce on him. And this is what I wanted to get into is that you have 6 head coaching vacancies with the Texans, the Lions, the Jets, the Jaguars, the Chargers, and the Falcons. Now, some of these teams are more sexy than others. And if you had to rank them 1 through 6, I'm going to do it with you. We're going to go 6 to 1, who the best spot for a new head coach to land, all right? So let's
Okay.
start down at 6, and I'll go first, all right?
Yep.
Number 6 is I'll say the Falcons. It's the Falcons because they have no cap room. They're 31st in cap. They're the oldest team in the league. There's not much to look forward to. You got an aging Matt Ryan. So as for a new head coach, not very appealing. So I'll put him down at 6.
I'll put Detroit at 6.
Why Detroit?
Well, you got an aging quarterback there too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you have a lot. I mean, you got some pieces, Swift and Galladay, but I don't really see much after
I
that.
think, but you also got a horrible owner in Detroit too. Don't forget that. I have Detroit at 5, but
Yeah, I have Detroit at 6, and I have, if you're curious, I have Atlanta at 5. So we kind of flipped the back too.
yeah, we just flip up there. So
The only reason why I gave Atlanta 5 is because they have Julio. They have a couple of better receivers.
and they could trade. The Falcons really should blow it up. They should trade people and get some picks of this.
Yes.
And they have the pieces to do it. They could trade Julio Jones. They could trade Calvin Ridley. They could trade a bunch of these guys and get something back for them. So
Yeah.
there's that. At 4, I'm just checking some of these guys off. I'll put the. Hey, this is tough.
Because the bottom two is kind of like, that's easy.
You have to. I don't know. All right. I'll put the Texans at 4. They don't have a first round pick this year, so the talent is going to be the same or worse next year. So, but the only reason I'm debating this is because you have your quarterback. Like, that's set in stone. You have Deshaun Watson, who, by the way, led the league in passing yards this year. So you have him. You supposedly have a receiver, depending what they do at Will Fuller if he comes back or not. So I'll put the Texans at 4. Who you got at 4?
It's all tough for 4. I think those 4 jobs are pretty good. All
Yeah.
4 of them. I had the Texans at 4 too, just because we got Deshaun Watson, who was very good this year for a 4-win team.
Right.
We got a couple of weapons that could help. Maybe another receiver wouldn't be bad. David Johnson's not bad. The defense you got to clean up. That needs to be cleaned up a little bit.
Definitely.
But I see some potential on the offense. You got J.J. Watt. That's always good.
Yes, but they have like no draft picks this year. I have it pulled up
Yeah.
right here. Miami has their first and second, so their first pick is in the 3rd round at number 67 right now.
That's the reason why they're 4. The only reason why they're not 6 is because they have more talent on the field than the other 2.
Yes, and so they're gonna like hang in this weird buffer zone from being bad and blowing it up. And I agree with you; they have more talent than 2 of the remaining 3 teams. And my number 3 is the Jets. They have the most cap room, the number 2 pick. Debatable whether they have their quarterback or not. I think they have a relatively good GM. We'll wait and see with that. But the other 2 teams are better, and we'll get to them in a second. So I'll put the Jets at 3.
Well, if you told me 3 weeks ago, I wouldn't put the Jets at 3 in coaching vacancies, but they are now 3. Thanks to the 2 meaningless wins. But yeah, I see. The only thing I see promising about this team is you got Becton, P-Line, and a high number 2 pick. But that's it. I don't really see anything else after that.
Well, you got Avery Williamson. Oh no, they traded him. Quentin Williams. Sorry, you got Quentin Williams. So you have a cornerstone piece on defense. There's no receivers here. There's no sort of secondary here. So you have to build from the ground up. So you're putting the Jets at 3, you said?
Yeah.
All right. Number 2 for me is the Chargers, because look what they have to work with. You got Herbert there. You have Austin Eckler. You have some sort of a defense that needs to be worked on. But there's some pieces here that I think if the right moves are made, they're a contender next year.
I have the Chargers at 2. They got a great rookie record number for rookie quarterback touchdowns. Justin Herbert, he looks like he's gonna be very good. I was surprised by Anthony Lynn because he got fired even with the over 500 records, 33-31.
Yeah, but the past 2 years, dude, you've seen it. He can't close out games. You've seen it.
Yes. But they go on a winning streak though, so that kind of almost saved his job.
Yeah, ownership didn't buy it though. Spanos didn't buy it.
No, but that's a good job. You got Keenan Allen. That offense looks really good. You got Bosa, who was injured. You know, the defense has to be cleaned up a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. A couple tweaks, and this team's a contender next year.
This team, maybe next year, this team is battling out for the last wild card spot.
I could totally see it. So that's my number 2, and then number 1 is the Jags. I mean, the number 1 pick, that's pretty self-explanatory. But
here's the thing: I got the Jags winning. Number 1 pick. They got 11 total picks in the draft.
Yes, I'm pulling up their picks right now. They have 1. They have 21 from the Rams, 33, 45 from the Ngakoue trade, 67, and then 97. So that's 1, 2, 3. It's 6 top 100 picks from this year. I'm sure next year they have a ton too because they made a couple trades. So that's appealing. And then there's also a couple pieces here.
And they have a lot of cap space.
They have cap space too. But there's some pieces here that you can put as cornerstone, like James Robinson, DJ Shark, Miles Jack. Those are a couple of them. And like you mentioned, go ahead.
You're gonna have a major piece on the team. He's not on the team yet, but you're gonna have a major piece on the team in late April.
Bingo. Trevor Lawrence is coming here and says it all, right? I mean,
the Jaguars. The only thing about the Jaguars offseason is that you can't wait for Lawrence. If you're gonna take Trevor Lawrence, you have to in free agency prepare for his arrival by getting other pieces,
specifically the offensive line.
Yes,
I felt bad watching the Bengals this year because they didn't even look at the offensive line in the offseason. And when Burrow went down with the injury, now granted it was not contact, but it was because he was going down for a sack and he twisted his leg weirdly.
Yes,
But good.
and so I can guarantee this that Gardner Minshew, Mike Lennon, they will not be rotating like that next year. I
Oh no,
guarantee
but
it.
I think Minshew stays on. He's pretty young, and
Back up.
I don't think he's terrible. I think he's a good backup. I don't think he's awful
Hmm.
though. He
But
made the best of the situation he had.
but for the first time in even that AFC Championship game, I didn't even even that big year, I didn't give Jacksonville that much of a chance against the Patriots. But for the first time in a long, long time, Jacksonville's going to be a team to watch.
Yes, and it's appealing for the head coach. I don't know who it's going to be. I am
Urban
not
Meyer,
convinced. What's up?
Urban Meyer.
Did you hear that? What do you think of that?
I'm telling you, I think he's going to take that job.
Really? Well, he spent some time in Florida, so he's had some time in the
Rumors are
Sunshine
swirling
State.
around already. Rumors are swirling around.
It,
Spent time in
it didn't,
Florida.
didn't even take a day. No, but I don't think there's a chance that Dabo leaves.
No, but I'm telling you, that's a really good job
Right? I don't
at
know.
Jacksonville.
Maybe Dabo won't stay with Trevor.
I don't. I've been saying that for the whole time. That's why I said the Jets. But when the Jets got those two meaningless wins, thanks a lot, Adam Gase. Now, maybe it could be.
Well, think of it like this: Dabo was pretty close to Jacksonville, right? They're playing in the Carolinas.
Yeah, but that was got a really good gig in Clemson, though.
But I know, but it's only a couple miles down I-95, right? I mean,
Yeah, the question is going to be what route does ownership want to take?
yeah, I don't know what they're thinking, dude.
I'll tell you, I think Jacksonville's a very intriguing team for the offseason.
I do too. Well, let me ask you this: do you think it's gonna be an NFL caliber coach, like a coordinator or a previous coach, or
I
is it
wouldn't
gonna
go
be
down
someone
that
from the
route.
college level?
I would go to college route. I would not go down to coordinating route.
I think it's gonna be college level too, because
And I'm a big Trevor Lawrence fan. I really like the kid.
no,
So,
but I think it's a big reason.
uh,
He's coming from college. He's a generational talent, one of the best we've seen in college in a while. I think there's a good chance you do see someone come out from college.
so I'm telling you right there. Next year, Trevor Lawrence jersey. I'm telling you. I hope better be in those Jacksonville colors.
No, I can totally see him in the teal, and I could totally see him selling out and being the number one jersey.
And here's another thing too.
What?
If the Jaguars somehow pass on them, the Jets are the luckiest team ever in history.
Oh no, they're not gonna pass on him. Never in a million years will they pass on Trevor Lawrence. Never.
But the Jets has a good predicament too. Do you take a quarterback or you don't take a quarterback?
I told you last week, and I
You really
really
don't know.
think they should entertain taking offers and moving down.
I think they should take a quarterback. And if they don't want to take a quarterback, then trade down.
It's their choice, Fields or Wilson.
I take Fields.
I think Wilson. I'm not set on Wilson, dude. That Big Ten championship game really turned me off.
What about that game against Clemson? That was a great performance.
Let's see how he does against Alabama. Let's see.
That's a great game, by the way.
It really is. And with couple games yesterday with the clinchings, and we're gonna do the predictions at the end of the week, so on Friday or Thursday, whenever that is. But out of the teams that clinched yesterday, so you had the Packers clinch home field, you had the Rams and Bears clinch, the football team clinch, the Titans, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Dolphins actually moved out. Was there any point yesterday where you had the Dolphins finding the playoffs?
Yeah, when Jacksonville cut it to 6, I thought there was a shot.
Right.
But I feel bad for two. I really wanted to see them in the playoffs.
I did too, and I was fascinated by the idea of Miami sneaking into the playoffs and also having the number 3 pick. For some reason, that seemed awesome to me.
Yeah, I really did.
Now, going on yesterday, did you hear that Frank Reich turned off the scoreboards
I did hear
at
that.
Lucas Oil?
That's a great. He should have done that because I agree with him on that.
Because there were some points in this game, and by the way, Titans Texans was a classic. It was a great game, and it actually ended with that. What was it? The double doink on the field goal.
Yeah.
But there were points where Tennessee was down and Texans were coming back. Well, but Tennessee took the lead again, and the Jaguars were cutting it close. It was a back and forth 4 o'clock window. It was really cool to keep up with what was going on.
I think Frank White had somebody secretly on the sidelines with a phone telling.
Or it could have been someone from the stands screaming out scores.
That's true.
They got fans there.
That's true.
All right, so one more thing on football with the games. It's not really games, but I have to ask you, who is your MVP of the 2020 season?
Wow. I gotta give it to Rodgers.
I do too. He had 18 pass touchdowns to Devontae Adams. And I think them taking a quarterback last year in the draft, remember Jordan Love? We both hated it. But do you remember
Yeah.
that? I think that was fuel. That was fuel for Aaron Rodgers. And he went out there and he got home field advantage for himself. The Super Bowl will have to go through Lambeau.
Well, and I think they could be beaten, but we'll see.
It's possible, but I think the Saints are a better team than them. To be honest with you, I really do.
The Seahawks defense has been very good in this
No,
last
no,
couple
we'll
weeks.
get into this Thursday and Friday. I am not so high on the Seahawks. They're lucky they're playing the Rams because the status with Goff's uncertain. I don't really know what's going on
He's not
there.
going to be 100% anyway.
So that's a tricky game. But if the Seahawks are playing anyone else, I don't think they get out of the first round.
I don't know. That defense has really improved.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see, man. We'll get into all that on Thursday or Friday with the NFL preview, playoff preview show. But let's try and do guess the spread for the playoffs. And our picks are over. Oh, I have to gloat about this, dude. The picks are over.
Yeah.
Sorry, my mic is freaking out. But the picks are over. I have clinched. Trevor will be hosting the show, meaning he will be doing my duties on January 15th. So what I mean by that, there was some confusion. I had people ask me about this. Trevor's going to open the show. He's going to close the show. He's going to come up with the topics, and I'll throw in my 2 cents of what I think we should do. But it is going to be up to him what direction this goes in. And no
Be
pressure,
careful
Trevor.
what you wish for, man, because I'm doing the topic, so be careful what you wish for.
We're going to do like a bunch of EPL stuff, I think, and horse racing. That's what it's going to be.
I don't know. I just say be careful what you wish for. Hey, you were the one who put this, but it's like I gotta put it back at you, man.
I gotta be honest. I don't know how you feel about hosting shows because I've never seen you host a show ever. Like especially when we were in camp or whatever, you've never like offered to host. So I'm interested to see how you do here.
Well, now it's different. Now it's just me and you, and not everybody's looking at
Right,
me, so.
and no cameras or anything like that. But I've never been in your seat. I don't know what to do here.
Oh, see, you're gonna punish yourself now too.
Yeah, I'm getting a little nervous too because when do I start talking? When can I change the subject? I got in my own head now.
See,
But-
be careful what you wish for. See,
But I think I'm gonna do more laughing than I am anything. I really want to see how you hold up a show.
You want to do a better job than you.
Well, we'll see, man. Maybe you're good at it. Maybe you like it, and you'll branch off and leave me and make your own show. Maybe.
No, that's not
Maybe, who knows? Who knows, dude? But okay, let's try and do guess the spread. Let's see. We'll start with Colts and Bills. That is the Saturday game at 1:00. Good game.
It really is a good game. Hey, it's a great. The Super Wild Card weekend is really good.
Oh, me too. And I think football is the only sport where you could have gotten away with this. Because
Yeah.
I don't want more spots in baseball. Basketball and hockey already have enough. Football at 14, I think is perfect.
Yeah, Colts at Bills. I'm gonna say Bills is 7.
You got it. And then Rams at Seahawks,
Seahawks are 5.5.
4.5. Bucks football team. I've seen this line move already from this morning.
Bucks are. I'm gonna say now 8.
8.5. I saw it started around like 7.
Wow.
So
yeah,
so
Bucks
the
will take
money's
my-
already
I'll tell
pouring
you,
in this morning.
This game's gonna be very close. You watch.
I don't think so. I
The
think
Washington defense is very good.
dude, but the Bucks offense is clicked. I don't know what's going on with Mike Evans, though. I think he has a pretty serious
It's
injury. yesterday.
no structural damage.
Is he out though?
He's listed day to day.
Okay, so we'll have to monitor that. But
Mhm.
this Bucks offense is clicking.
Mhm.
But they're also going to be without a couple defensive pieces. I think JPP's out.
I think so. It's a very interesting game.
Yeah, so that's the nightcap. I was surprised that they're giving the 4 seed, which is under 500, the nightcap on Saturday.
But it's Tom Brady.
You think that's why? But they could have gone with Pittsburgh and Cleveland. That's a
That's
pretty
Sunday
good
night,
game. But yeah, look at these. Not a lot of these markets are big.
No.
Los Angeles is the only one I'm looking at. It's like huge.
Well, Lamar Jackson will get ratings.
Yeah, but no one from Tennessee. I mean, people from Tennessee care, but no one cares about the Titans. It's not like New York's playing in there. You have one Los Angeles team. There's no teams from Texas. Like the Cowboys aren't here. Cowboys don't play
I
this week. I mean, the
I think the
Packers don't.
I think the Ravens Titans game is the best game of the week.
That's gonna be one of the best. Cleveland Pittsburgh. That could be an upset, but we'll get into that spread in a second. But we'll go Ravens Titans first.
Ravens are probably a field goal.
Yeah, Ravens are a 3.5 point road favorite.
Wow, this is gonna be a great game. This is gonna be a classic game.
You're already getting pumped up for it.
I'm telling you, man, this is gonna be a really good game.
All right, and it's followed by the dud Bears Saints. This game's gonna be on Nickelodeon if anyone cares.
Ooh, they take the worst game of them all. Put on. Saints are probably 10.
Yeah, 9.5. That's gonna be a dud. Browns Steelers.
Steelers are 4.
Yeah, and I still can't get a grip on what the Browns are.
I'm telling you, they have a shot to beat Pittsburgh. I'm telling you.
No, they definitely have a shot to do it. If there is one, not even gonna say it. I gotta save it for later. Dude. I don't want to spoil anything. All right. Okay.
Alright?
So just to recap, I'm gonna pull up the picks real quick. We went 17 weeks. We got through it. We had some problems with that Thanksgiving game. Remember with the Ravens and the Steelers?
Yes.
So we ended up getting through that. I hit on the Bills. I didn't hit on the Jets. And I didn't hit on the Eagles, right? No, I did
Yeah.
not. So I finished the year 24-27. You lost on the Dolphins. You lost on the Cowboys, and I think you lost on the Bears too, right?
Yeah.
So you finished the year 20-30. Not a good showing for Jerry this year.
The last 3 weeks was very bad.
Yeah, well, you went into like a little bit of a tailspin, but you also said it last week. With the way this year is gone, nothing is final until it's over. We could
Yeah.
easily have a 3-0 and an 0-3 from one of us. It's happened before. It could have happened yesterday.
But it didn't happen.
It didn't, and instead you'll be hosting a show, and I'm excited for it. All right, so let's get into your segment. And I hear there is some weird rumors going around in London. What's going on over here?
Well, let's be clear first of all. It is. I want to stress this very importantly. It is just rumors. It is no official statement. The Premier League came about 5 days ago and says it's continuing the season. We have not heard anything else since then, and
Okay.
it's been another postponed game since then. 3 in 1 week. So I don't know if this postponed game changes anything. Because we had a couple more postponements since then.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, there is a game being played today. Right now, that game is still going on, as I know.
Where do these rumors start?
Well, they started on NBC, and some of the guys are saying from their sources that it's potentially the season could be on pause, and like I said before, rumors are rumors.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I want to stress that it is not an official statement. It is just rumors.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to say that. But the Premier League said 5 days ago to continue with the season. So, but again, 5 days things have changed.
Right.
So again, as of right now, I have no news, no statements. So I'm assuming that the season's going to continue as of right now.
Okay, and we've seen from American teams or American leagues that we'll just go on and hope for the best. We're just gonna plow right through it. And I think most teams are. Or most leagues are, rather.
Well, the American sports really do plow on. Again, it's a
They don't
different
stop.
mindset.
They don't stop.
No. So the Premier League gets kind of lucky here because after today's game, there's no Premier League games until next Tuesday. So they get lucky.
There's nothing on the weekend? Why?
Well, because they played so many games during the Christmas season, so they had to give the players some kind of break. And there's also other competitions going on in England, so they're going to give them a break. So they're off until next Tuesday. So the Premier League gets lucky in that sense that they have a week to make their decision.
Okay, so but isn't that a bad thing? Because now they have a week to mold these or not rumors, but all the data and all their options.
do.
It's not good.
But that's the way the schedule is. But you gotta get the players some kind of a break.
Oh yeah, they definitely need a break because they've since last May or June they've been packing in these games in the weekdays, early days, late days. Like it's been nonstop for them.
Yeah, and after today's game Monday, so next Tuesday. So I have no game of the week for you because we're on a week long bye, and then we come back following week.
Well, Trevor, you can't leave the people hanging. Was there a game
No,
from the
but I am
previous
gonna
week
do.
that you liked?
So I'm gonna do something else. How
Look at
about
Trevor being creative.
how about this week? You could do the same thing as you. I'm gonna pick. How about a football game this week?
Go for it. I since football's over and we're into the playoffs, I was going to basketball now.
But I'll give you a football this week. And by the way, Arsenal, that's 3 in a row now. By the way, for them.
Oh, good. The relegation no more.
So all of a sudden, since I told you this year the league is very compact, it's not one big dominant team.
Right.
Arsenal's moved up to 11th all of a sudden.
Right.
So in this year with compact, you put 3 wins together in this compact table, you move up like 6 spots.
It made some sense, yeah.
Yeah, if you take a look, I'm just taking a look right now at the the top in the Premier League, the top 10 teams are separated by 2 games. How
Right.
about that?
Right.
6 points, so you get 3 for each win. How about that? Top 10 teams are separated by 2 points.
Yeah,
That's
it's really
great.
that's pretty cool because it's so competitive now.
Yeah.
So was there
Um,
football or game of last week that you liked?
Well, my Premier League game last week was Chelsea and Manchester City. Manchester City walked all over. It was 3-1. So now Chelsea's manager could be on the hot seat a little bit now. So
Really?
we'll have to see
What's Chelsea's record?
well, right now the record is 7 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses. So they're 8th place, but with 1 win they can move right back up to 4th potentially. That's how.
And their manager on the hot seat.
A little bit on the hot seat, But this week, shifting gears, I got a football game this week since I have no soccer.
NFL game. Let's hear it.
Yeah, NFL game. I'm gonna go Ravens and Titans. What can you say? Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. This is just some game. Now I'm fired up already for this game, and it's Monday. What can you say? I mean, it's just a great game on paper.
No, it is a great game, and Ryan Tannehill and what he's been able to do. You had Derrick Henry yesterday be the 8th guy to run for 2,000 yards in a season, and the offensive firepower that they have against Lamar Jackson. And this is a team that I don't want to mess with right now. They're hotter than the sun right now. This team, with the way they've beaten teams, they're on this long win streak. I don't want to mess with them right now.
I told you, I never gave up faith in Baltimore.
No, you never do. You don't give up faith in Lamar Jackson. You don't give up faith in Jim Harbaugh. There's just you don't do that. It's like it's an unwritten rule. You don't do it.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a football game and I'll give you a basketball game tonight. So I'm gonna pick something different. I'll give you Colts Bills. It's the 1:00 game on Saturday, and this is really only for the Bills. First of all, the Bills are getting fans back in the stadium. I wasn't a fan of it, but whatever, for off-air reasons. They're playing the Colts, who narrowly snuck into the playoffs, taking the spots from the Dolphins. So it's the ever-aging Phillip Rivers against the young and exciting Josh Allen. And if there's one team, rather, that I say could beat the Kansas City Chiefs in a one-game playoff, that is Josh Allen and the Bills. With the combination
Not
of
Baltimore?
No, I think Buffalo's way better than Baltimore.
That's the game. I want to see Lamar versus Patrick in the AFC Championship.
I want to see Patrick versus Allen. Just the combination of defense and the offense that just gets by. It's a nice competitive game I'd like to see between Baltimore, or rather Buffalo and Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you a basketball game side. Nothing really too crazy. One game, I guess, Boston and Toronto. Now, Toronto's getting off to a really slow start. They're 1-4. And Boston's like middle of the pack. They're 4-3. So last year or a couple years ago, this would have been a great game. It's still a pretty good rivalry. I'll give you that. And also give you Indiana and New Orleans. It's always great to see Zion. And the Pacers have looked pretty good too. They're 4-2. They're right in the thick of a playoff race early in the year. So those are 2 games I'll give you there.
Joe, I gotta ask you this question.
I know you do.
You talked about slow starts. I gotta ask you this question. What is going on with your Nets right now?
I'm really getting,
because they're 3-4. They're under 500 now.
I'm getting upset, dude.
They lost to the lonely Wizards.
I don't know where this Kevin Durant came from, where he's not hitting clutch shots.
But he's scoring a lot of points.
He is, but okay, you score a couple garbage time points late in the second quarter. That's great. Can you do something at the end of the game too?
I was just telling you, man. I was praying last night for your parents that Boy, the Nets better win this game, or else the Morales household's not going to be the same.
It was between that. It was not a good night between that and the Eagles. It really, I'm surprised they didn't take the 34-inch baseball bat and shove it through one of my TVs. It
But
was
at
that
least
kind
for
of
me,
night.
at least for me, it wasn't as bad, and the night was salvaged for me.
Now, how the Lakers doing? I
Lakers,
didn't get a chance to watch that last night.
Lakers last night, they didn't. AD and LeBron really struggled. They were held to single digits in the first half, and at one point, Montrezl Harrell was the leading scorer,
Yeah. Well,
and Wes
again,
Matthews.
what a pickup, by the way.
Yeah, and Wes Matthews too. That shows how the depth, the bench really carried them. That shows you how depth they have.
Right, and I wish the Nets had that right now. The depth
And
seems to be non-existent.
yeah, the Lakers, who played Memphis, who was very depleted last night. They didn't play that great, but they still won the game by double digits, which is unbelievable.
No, that's a sign of a great team, dude. That you have the
Yeah,
depth to carry the load for your two stars.
and the other thing too is I would expect that the Lakers off the short rest to maybe get out to a 500 start or something like that. But all of a sudden they're 5-2 now, and since going 0-1, they went 5-1 in the last 6 games. So I'm surprised a fast start off a short rest.
Yeah, dude, they have no championship hangover.
No, I'm surprised. I would expect the Lakers to be 4-3 or something like that. But I've been really impressed. They haven't played that many tough teams, but still, gotta give credit where it's deserved. They
Right,
still
yeah,
won.
they deserve a lot of credit. They've played good, and when, like I said before, when your two stars are having an off night and your bench can pick up the slack for them, that's great. And I have to ask you a
And Dennis
question. Go ahead, but go
and
ahead.
Dennis Schroeder's been a great trade as well.
Right, he really has. Getting it from Oklahoma City, pretty good. Now, I have to ask you a question. As an outsider looking in, like as not a Nets fan, do you think the loss of Dinwiddie is that big?
Right now, I would say it is. It's shown.
It really is
You know,
showing.
the train has gone off the rails since then.
It's really
Um,
early in the season, so I don't want to panic yet.
yeah,
But not good signs. Not
but
good signs.
I'll tell you this, as a person who has in the Eastern Conference no rooting interest, I'll tell you this. Um, I obviously root for you, but the Nets right now with that defense, and they can score. I don't. They're not going to beat these top teams in the East. I mean, right now, I put Milwaukee in front of them. I put Miami in front of them. I even put maybe Boston ahead of them because their defense has been just really bad so far.
Definitely, dude. And yesterday against the Wizards, who came in at 1-5, they gave up 123. The game against the Hawks, nothing was working. They couldn't shoot. Gave up 144. The game against that was also against the Hawks. They finished 145 to 141. How the hell do you score 145 points and you only win the game by 4?
Yeah,
That's sad.
I,
116 to the Grizzlies without John the second half. 106 to the Hornets, and they started the year pretty good. But the last 4 or 5 games, they get Utah tomorrow. The last 4 or 5 games, I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know. And you talk about you kind of compare the Lakers and the Nets. So far through the first 7 games, the Lakers have had clutch shooting and really good defense.
Yeah, and that's what you need to win. That's something the Nets do not have right now is clutch shooting and defense.
Well, again, that's the first 7 games. Things could change, but early signs.
Right. And I lied. I want to give you one more game tonight that's pretty good. And we've yet to talk about them yet. It is the New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks. And Atlanta looks pretty good, but looks like Tom Thibodeau's the real deal for the Knicks. I've watched all 6 of their games so far, and in most of them, through 3.5 or 4 quarters, they play competitive and they play competent basketball. The games are always close, and Thibodeau he's almost like a Joe Judge. No BS guy.
Yeah, I like that. And tonight for me, because normally Monday night is a slow night for college basketball, not that many games.
College basketball.
And yeah, it's a slow night normally Mondays. And no Monday Night Football anymore. I'll tell you, it's gonna be all NBA tonight for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was thinking about. I'll tell you this. I'll give you a little insight to what I do in the afternoons. So I finish up school at like noon, and then the earliest college basketball games usually start at around 1 o'clock. So I'll grab some lunch. I'll clean up. I'll get whatever, and then at 1 o'clock. I'll get some homework done and have a college basketball game on the background. So I have ESPN Plus, and they show like all of these 1 o'clock games. So that's how I'll get my college basketball in. And then if there's a big game at night, I'll watch that. But at night, especially now what you said with no NBA, with football only on the weekends.
Wait, you mean no
No
Monday Night Football?
Monday Night Football, sorry. It's all NBA for me. And until I think it's the 13th or the 14th when the Rangers come back, it's all Brooklyn Nets in the NBA for me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be enjoying the slate of NBA games tonight. That I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I definitely will too. And I have to ask you one more thing. We had an exciting weekend of college football this weekend. With between all
Yes.
the bowl games and the semifinals, what stood out to you?
Well, I think first of all, again, Notre Dame looked overmatched again.
It was actually closer than I thought it would be.
I would say this: the Notre Dame defense played well, but the offense, you got to admit, the offense could not move the ball.
Definitely, they really
I don't
shouldn't
I
have
don't
been.
count,
They shouldn't have been there, dude.
no I don't count the last 5 minutes because that was garbage time.
Right.
Um, the second game, how about Justin Fields and that Ohio State offense? I mean, wow,
Yeah.
what can you say? That was a great performance. And Clemson, not they shouldn't be ashamed of themselves. They're a great team. They just got beat by a better team. And you know what? That championship game, Alabama Ohio State. Wow, that's gonna be a really good game.
It is, and I wanted to see Alabama Clemson, but it's whatever. But I still have a bone to pick with Indiana. I still don't like them after that all that Big Ten stuff.
But I'm
It's
telling you, you know what I mean? Ohio State last night, or whatever it was, a couple nights ago, they showed that they definitely belonged in the playoff.
Oh yeah, definitely. But they should have been in the Big Ten game. Yeah, I think Indiana got snubbed. That's all I got. But do you want anything else in any game or anything?
No, the only thing I'll say is Wednesday is their first ESPN NBA doubleheader. For anybody curious out there.
Well, actually, opening night was the first, technically.
Well, no, that was TNT.
Oh, you're right. It was.
ESPN doubleheader, and I think ESPN's had a game, but that was only one game, not
Yes.
two.
Well, what's tomorrow? Here, let me pull it up.
Well, I think tomorrow's just NBA TV.
Oh, Wednesday, you mean? So Wednesdays, yes, you have
Wednesday,
Boston, Miami, and the Clippers in Golden State. That's a pretty game.
that is, those are good games. I'll be following that, and then TNT we got the Sixers and Nets, and then we got Mavs Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
And then do we have anything on Friday? Friday normally is ESPN too. We do have something on ESPN. 7:30 Hornets and Pelicans, interesting.
Not
And
bad.
then 10 o'clock Clippers and Warriors.
That's not bad at all. And by the way, Clippers are quietly 5-2.
Quietly, yes.
Yeah, and no one's really talking about them.
No, and we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I'm telling you, the Western Conference might have to go through LA. Both.
Yes, and I know divisions mean nothing, but in your division, in that Pacific division right now, all teams are 500 or better.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens to the Suns. It's early on. That young team will have their ups and downs, I would think.
The Suns?
Hmm.
Well, yeah, well, CP3 right now looks pretty good. He's carrying the load.
Yeah, and the Warriors, to me, early signs look like they can do it, but it looks like they can be very inconsistent. The Warriors.
Oh yeah, and they need. I mean, look at Steph last night, 62. I think. What is he? 62? Was that it?
Yeah, and then after 3 bad games, they played 3 good games. So it seems like they're a very inconsistent team.
Right, and maybe it was just a bad 3 game stretch, and they're on the rise now. Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. We'll see. Very shaping up to be an interesting
But
next
but
couple of
as
months.
of right now, the Pacific Division 1 through 5, the Clippers are 1. They technically have the 1 seed in the West. The Suns are the 2 seed in the West. The Lakers are the 3 seed. The Warriors are the 6 seed, and the Kings are the 8 seed. Now, this is obviously not going to hold up. Things are going to change. But
Yeah,
early in the season, all 5 teams in the Pacific Division are in the playoffs.
it seems like you have your top four: the Kings, Clippers, Suns, and Warriors, right? Then it just seems like the Kings are about 2 levels below them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It seems like they'll be the weak team in the division.
Yeah, obviously. The Kings are never good, dude. When was the last time the Kings were good? I think we have to go back before we were born when the Kings were good.
Yeah, but they have a good young core there, so maybe they're starting to get things going.
Right. And one more thing. I'm sorry I'm keep adding on here. The Pelicans, I know divisions mean nothing, but when you stack these teams together, it's interesting. Pelicans are the only team in the Southwest Division that will playoffs right now. Houston's not doing well. Dallas ain't doing well. Memphis and San Antonio not doing well. So right off the bat early in the year, some things I've noticed.
Yes, and we'll keep following them again as the
Definitely.
season goes on. We'll expand on those things and getting excited. Hockey returns not this week, next week.
Next week, the 13th, they're back.
Yes.
All right, so that's all we've got for now. We'll be back Thursday or Friday. I'll talk with Trevor later on what day works best. That'll be the NFL playoff show. So predictions, Super Bowl, the brackets and stuff, all of that comes out Thursday or Friday. And then if anyone's interested, the NFL offseason preview doesn't come out till March because that's when the offseason starts. So we'll have to wait a
Yeah.
few months for that. But for now, that's what we got. I'm Joe Morales. That's Trevor Markowski. This has been the MD.